Hey everybody, welcome back, and thanks for being here. Today we're looking at an awesome new release, LEGO Fortnite. This game has been so much fun and I'm so excited to tell you all about it, but first, make sure you head over to the item shop to pick up your free True Explorer's Quest pack. I've already got mine, so unfortunately it's not going to show up, but this is where it will be in the item shop, and this is what it's going to look like. So this will allow you to get a bunch of cool loot and XP as you're playing through the LEGO game. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get back over into the game launcher and check this thing out. So what you'll immediately notice, you can select worlds, and you can either be invited to someone else's world or you can start your own. So of course, we're going to choose to start our own today. As you can see, I started a world before, but we're not going to be using that right now. That has about an hour of gameplay in it, just so I could get a feel for things before I started this video. So with that being said, you go ahead and open up your new world slot, and you'll be able to choose between a survival or a sandbox mode. Essentially very similar to Minecraft, where the sandbox would be your creative mode, survival is exactly the same. And then you can choose yourself a nice cover image, and since Christmas is coming up, I think we'll choose one of these. I think I like that one in the middle best. We'll take that one. Now, similar again to Minecraft, if you have a world seed, you can use that from someone else, and then go ahead and plug that in here. We're not going to be using that. We're going to let it randomly generate. And then you can further adjust your settings for enemies and hunger. We're again going to leave enemies on, and we're going to let our character get hungry. You also have the option to feel the effects of temperature, which we will leave on as well. And then moving forward, there are a few more to go through. You will have a stamina bar. Essentially, sprinting, swimming, pushing things will reduce that. We're going to leave that on as well. And then elimination is whether or not you have a health bar. We're, of course, going to have that. And drop inventory upon elimination will be on. There is no option to, completely lose your stuff like you would in Minecraft. But I keep comparing this to Minecraft, and it's not. So let me get off of that. Again, we have friendly creatures and villagers. So let's go ahead and jump in, and then we'll go through this a little bit more in depth as we actually play the game. So here there's just a little warning that offensive content has no place in Fortnite, to make sure that everything is nice and kosher, just so that I can be community friendly. So here we go. We're going to move on into the world now. And let me just say, the immersion is incredible. Just off the bat, it's unreal. I do not want to put this game down, and I don't think that you'll want to do that either as soon as you start playing. It really sucks you in, which unfortunately I feel is rather rare these days, so I really enjoyed that. Now, let's go ahead and roll through this. As we meet Cuddle Team Leader, they're going to be our mentor and tutorial giver throughout this entire process. They do a really good job of introducing things as you go throughout this game, rather than just dumping the whole thing on you and hoping you figure it out. So it is very user-friendly, very friendly to new players. Now, as in any game like this, the first thing you need to do is collect resources, which is very easy. Your options to start are to find small pieces on the ground of either wood or granite, and then you can pick them up. Or you can use your hands like this to smash bushes and the smallest trees. You'll also be collecting resources like vines when you destroy these bushes, and those will be important for making torches and other things later on. But for now, our main focus is going to be to collect some wood and some granite so that we can start to make our first campfire. Now, the campfires are super important in this game, especially if you spawn in a colder biome like I did. This area is fine, but as soon as I move out of here, you'll see my character starts to get cold very quickly. So here we need to make our first campfire, which is going to be essentially the centerpiece of our village for right now. It's going to show me from a distance how to get back to where I'm going. It'll keep me warm, and it'll keep it nice and bright at night and repel some of the mobs. Now, our next goal is going to be to create that crafting table. So we're going to need to get some more granite for that. But I just so happened to get hungry while we were out there, so I figured it'd be a good time to show you the notification that you get and what happens when you're too hungry. So you'll get a hungry notification, and if you let it go too far, it'll say you're starving. So you simply consume food, which will give you both health and hunger points. Hunger points? I don't know what to call that. Anyways, we're back out. We're going to go get some more granite. I noticed this over here, and this is just another good thing to show you here where you can walk up to it. You'll just hit X and collect it. You don't need to make tools to collect stone in the beginning. You can, of course, collect larger stones later with tools, but we'll get there when we get there. In the meantime, it's just important that we collect enough to go ahead and start our crafting bench. So here we are with that. We're going to go ahead and select it, and then once you hit A, it doesn't build from that menu. That's a little bit confusing. You'll just select it out of that menu, and then you have your full controls as to where you'd like to put it and everything. So it looks like we have a little message here. Yes, cooking. So cooking will come later. You need, I want to say, 30 pieces of granite to create a grill, and then you can cook various items on that, but we'll be getting that in a little bit. We still need to collect more resources. That's probably the best piece of advice I can give you first thing in the game is right here. When you make your first forest axe and your first pickaxe, you'll notice that they don't really go too far. Go too far meaning they don't really cut down a lot of things before they wear out. So first things first, make yourself some torches, make yourself all those tools, and then once you have them and you go out, the biggest mistake I made was getting a few things and then just coming back. What you should do is use your tools until they break, because to the best of my knowledge, I haven't found a way to combine tools. I do think that comes later in the game. Maybe it's once I level up more, but I haven't gotten there. Just break stuff until it's gone and collect all the resources you can carry and bring it back. It seems like obvious, but I get too excited to just get back and keep building and, you know, all those things. So now you can see I've unlocked more build recipes through just playing and leveling up. We now have the lumber mill and the grill. We'll touch more on that in a second because these snowberries are really important. They're one of those things that they're going to grow back, and you notice when you eat them that they have a unique effect where you have 2 minutes of heat resistance, which I don't need in this biome, but I'm sure I will need it later in the game. So now we have the resources to have both of our tools. Those are all built up, and we can start proceeding further in and start looking at what our next challenge is going to be. But before we do that, it's really important to take a look at the inventory because it can be very confusing. If you happen to play at a distance from your screen or just have a smaller screen, you may notice it's difficult to see the little dash between the 5th and 6th squares in your fastbar, quick bar, excuse me. So there is a separation, and that very last one is your offhand. So as you can see, I'm now able to hold a torch and eat my berries at the same time, and this is very useful for when you're going out, as the torch does provide a little bit of warmth and a lot of light as you're exploring, so that way you can keep yourself warm, but it doesn't, as you can see, make a very large effect. I'm not really in that cold of an area, but even with the torch, it still says I'm cold. Now our next challenge is going to be to cover our work areas, because only one I've seen so far that I remember working in the rain was the grill. I don't believe any of the others can be used in the rain. So what you'll have to do is create structures. Now, you can either build things yourself, or you can use blueprints. To start, make sure that you use the blueprint for the simple shack, because the tutorial, as far as I know, will not continue until you build that simple shack. So just get that out of the way, make sure you do it real quick. So as you do unlock those different structures, it pretty much looks like the main structures you unlock in the blueprints. You will then unlock the individual pieces that make those blueprints in your building pieces menu, and then you can choose to do either one. Now, as you probably noticed, we unlocked a few more things under our utility tab. We will be looking to make a lumber mill here soon so that we can make planks and rods, and then we'll also need to be making a grill soon. But before we get into any of that, let's get back to our shack here. You'll notice at first the controls for building this stuff can be a bit cumbersome. It's a little awkward, it's a little fast. Things, as you could see, things move very, very sensitively. So with that being said, once you actually get into the building, you'll simply need to select the part that you want to put on first, line it up with the blueprint, and then you just build it up, and it's that easy. And I will say this part is pretty easy, very user-friendly, easy to figure out. I actually like it a lot, and it gives you an idea of how to build these structures. If you're not really sure, this is going to give you a nice idea of what should go where, and just some basic knowledge of how to get these structures built up. So as we go ahead and put this together, you'll notice that it happens in stages where it'll only give you a few parts at a time, again, reducing the amount of confusion, keeping things as simple as possible, and also aiding in how quickly these structures go up, which was also something notable. I mean, this was the first thing I built, and not really having too much issues here. It goes up quite nicely, and there it is all finished. Now it's going to be important to put my items inside of this shack to protect them from the rain, and I can use them whenever I want now. So, also another thing, we'll have beds for myself and anyone living in the village, and we'll have chests to store our items. So I do need to collect some more resources before we create a bed. Now, again, similarly to Minecraft, this will then be your spawn point whenever you do die. Unfortunately, it does not pass the night. There's no option to pass time that I know of. You do have to just either go out during the night or choose to stay in. Now, as you saw just there, my character started freezing and I rapidly lost health. So, fortunately, I was able to collect enough resources in that time to create my bed, which will allow me to recover health. So I can just go ahead and build that, and then I can hop in, and you'll see now, once I assign it to myself, my health will recover pretty quickly as I rest, and I can continue to do whatever I like. Unfortunately, it will not refill your hunger bar. You cannot have sleep for dinner. You will have to find some food. So, we're back out, we're getting some more resources, and I got murked. So this would be an excellent time to show you what happens when you die. So you'll just respawn, and as you can see, that's my backpack right there. So I'll spawn. Thankfully, I just built my bed. It was really good timing. So I can respawn right at my little camp here, jump out, and then there's a beacon that I can see very clearly over there where my backpack is. And I will have everything that I had before. So it's kind of a win-lose to me. I like the gratification of getting my stuff back because then I don't feel so bad about dying. But at the same time, it does take away some of that same gratification that you earned it. And, you know, it's like when you play Minecraft and you're way out in the middle of nowhere, or you fall into lava and you lose all your stuff and you get really pissed off, and then you start a brand new game. There's something really special about that is missing here just because of that, but I don't hate it. Now, another really important thing. These are going to show up. They will find you, and you will follow them, and they will show you where chests are and where these llamas are and all kinds of awesome stuff that you're going to need along the way. And the loot that comes out of these things is phenomenal. It is so much better than the little berries that I've been picking. These pizzas and spicy burgers and all that. I'm going to show you the haul in a second here. But on my way home to do that, there was this lightning storm. And again, you know, this game just throws things at you so fast, it's so hard to pace. But yeah, you can get struck by lightning, so just be aware of that. So here's all our stuff. My goodness, we're going fast right now. So we picked up pepper seeds to put in our garden. And then we have these spicy burgers, which are going to be super useful in this biome because they increase my cold resistance for 10 minutes, which is awesome. And then we also have the dynamite, which is just a simple, you know, it is exactly that, it's just dynamite. Our pizza here is going to give us plus 30 total hearts. That's amazing. And then we got the Arctic claws, which I don't really know what we use them for, but we have them for when we need them. Now, as we've leveled up, you can see now we have some more things in our crafting recipes. We're now going to be able to create a health charm, which is going to give us 2 more hearts and then a 3 shield points, or whatever you want to call that. So moving out of here, we can also make arrows now as well. Sorry, can't keep up with myself. So now we have enough resources to make our lumber mill, so we're going to go ahead and place that. I chose to keep them outside the structure for now. I'll build a larger structure and move them, which is something that I want to touch on as well. You'll notice that there's no control to pick up and move things you've already made. You'll have to destroy them and then rebuild them, essentially. So here you can see the lumber mill. You've got planks and wooden rods, which you go ahead and use for more projects down the road. It's very easy to use. You can deposit as many as you'd like at a time. I think the 30 is going to be the stack limit on that. And then you can back out of that, keep doing other things, like seeing what you might need to make your next thing, which would be the spinning wheel, and it will continue to create whatever you have it creating on its own. So now, as we continue to play, continue to make new things, now we're able to create a shovel, which of course will be needing the items from our lumber mill to bring over and using the crafting recipes. So you can kind of see how it all starts to tie in, and then we'll start to need things from the spinning wheel later on to make things like a shield. So as you can see, there's a good bit of bulk to the actual gameplay here. There's lots to do, there's lots to upgrade, there's huge progression. Like I said in the beginning, the immersion here is really, really impressive. There's really never a dull moment. You're always looking to do something new. And right now, our something new is going to be crafting our first sword, which is really important if you want to be out doing any kind of exploration at nighttime. It helps a lot. The damage isn't that much higher. It's only 1 point higher than your axe. However, it is so much faster in the swing time. So you're able to, be effective a lot more with that as opposed to the slow swings of the forest axe or the pickaxe. So it's a huge help. Definitely make sure you get one. And again, as we do that, we unlock more things. So now we have the ability to go ahead and start a garden plot, which I will need some soil and fertilizer, which I have not come across yet. Soil you just dig up. You just build a shovel and then you dig up the soil. But I haven't found any fertilizer yet, so I'm not going to worry about that just quite yet. For right now, I still want to work on building up the village, which is going to include making your village square. So you'll be able to choose an icon and a color for it, and this is going to be really, really important. So essentially what happens here, once you create your village square, you can see mine's already ready to upgrade to level 2. So from level 1, you have your cozy charm. So villagers will automatically equip a health charm. You'll have friendly visitors come to the village, and you can have one additional villager live with you at the time of being level 1. And then you'll need to collect, you guessed it, wood and granite to upgrade your village. So we'll have to do that, and then we will go ahead and come back and upgrade the village and see what comes with those perks. So here we go. This is what what screen you'll see when you go ahead and do that. You will be greeted with a nice little charm there. Now let's see what we've got. So now we have the map marker, now that we are village level 2. And then that is simply going to mark your village on your map. Thing is, your bed is already marked, so it's not really necessary to use that. Now we also have more building items, including the log shed, which to me is one of the first worth it things to build to put your bed in and have a nice structure to stay inside. And now with that, you'll unlock some pieces that go with it, including granite foundations, some new flooring, walls, stairs, etc. I'm just going to go ahead and scroll through some of that so you can see your options. And like I had said before, most of those pieces are going to come from the larger blueprint builds that you're given. And then, again, you can just pick and choose which ones that you want to use. So you can see here, a lot of these are really nice. You're adding in some color now to the roof pieces, just a little something extra. It's weird though, they do look a lot more blue in the panel, and then when you put them down, there's a lot more green in it, but that's irrelevant. I just thought it was something to notice. We now have a lot of furniture to use. We'll have chairs and benches in a few different styles. And then we have now our first lighting option, which is just a little candle you can stick around. And they actually produce a nice amount of light. They're very good for just like putting one inside your log cabin or something like that. It looks really nice. Now, soon enough, we'll be able to upgrade the village to tier 3. But essentially, as you add beds, utility stations, and other items, like campfires to your village, that level is going to start to go up, and then you'll be able to upgrade it, from there as you go. So while we're here, I happen to have enough resources to create a grill. So we're going to go ahead and do that before we do the spinning wheel, just because we have the resources. I think we'll go ahead and spin it around and stick it facing the campfire. Kind of like your, you can talk to everyone while you cook your food. I like that vibe right there. So now, I kind of touched on this before, but you're going to get your recipes for your grill. The one I forgot before was the fried egg. So now I'm remembering. Of course, you can collect those by petting a chicken, and then they should lay some eggs for you. And then, of course, we have corn on the cob and grilled meat. So you'll just need to assign which recipe you'd like to use to the grill, add that ingredient, and use it. I noticed there was some corn over here earlier, so I'm just going to quickly collect that. I wanted to leave that clip in so you guys could see what corn looks like, so you don't accidentally walk past it and think it's just some tall weeds or something. So, yeah, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I know damn well what some corn looks like. So anyways, we're going to go make corn on the cob. We've got 4 pieces. And while that cooks, we are going to run out here, and we had another one of these orbs come up to me, and I figured I should follow it. So I found my first chest here, which, interestingly enough, familiar sound? Yes, I think so. So here we are. Looks like we got a kind of a dud. We got snowberry seeds and silk. However, we can use those snowberry seeds to start a little snowberry farm, although we do fortunately have a patch at our little village. And you'll also notice sometimes these broken down structures. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything this time. I'm not really sure what these represent. I'm assuming it's kind of supposed to imply that there were people settled here in the past and something happened. Don't really know. Now, I did want to include this clip as well because it shows you just how far away you can see that campfire from. I mean, I've got to be quite a few hundred meters away from my village there, and you can very clearly see where it is, and that's with just one simple campfire. So here we've got our first visitor, and unfortunately we don't have a bed for her right now. So what we're going to have to do is go ahead and craft a second bed so that we can acquire our first villager. So same procedure. Go ahead, we'll leave room for Jesus. And then we'll assign the bed. Oh, we can't actually do that yet. I forgot. So we actually have to go talk to her first and then see if she wants to live here. We can't just, kind of say you live here now. Oh, well, that works out nicely, doesn't it? So now we just ask them to live there. And they'll say, if they ask if you have a spot, you say yes, and then that's it. So now you have your villager. But what's really nice is once you have a villager, you can choose to assign a job to them. So if you just come back to them, chat again, you'll be able to see that they are wondering if there's any jobs that they could maybe help with. So you can choose to have them be your accomplice, or you can have them do these resource jobs where they can either use your lumber mill or they can collect nearby resources and bring them back to you. For now, I'm going to have her work the lumber mill just so that I can have some more resources to use later. I feel like I'm always out collecting wood, so I might as well just do it myself. So I'm going to go ahead and move some things into a chest here, get the more valuable items out of my inventory. I guess there's really no harm in keeping them because it's very hard to lose your stuff in this game, but at the same time, just a little peace of mind for me, maybe a force of habit. Hard to say, but we're almost at level 3 now. And we need wolf claws in order to create our spinning wheel so we can create threads. Now, as I was out here, I noticed that chicken. I figured I'd show you that you could get meat and feathers from those chickens, and then you can also get silk from spiders. It is important to get some feathers, as you will need those to make arrows later on. Here we found a wolf. They are pretty easy to fight even early on, as long as you remember to use the dodge button when they start coming at you. It's pretty easy until they start running away. As you'll see, I chased this thing in real time for way too long. This is at like probably 300% speed, if I remember right. So yeah, that took a second, but we got what we need. We have our ingredients for the spinning wheel. And we're going to go ahead and take entirely too long to decide where it should go, because it should go right there, but then I think it should go over here, and that's not the case, and then I say over here, and this is just ridiculous, man. You were right the first time. You got to quit doubting yourself. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Of course it should go there. Lovely. So now we have 6 new recipes. We'll have the cord, silk thread, drawstring, and wool thread. Now the wool thread is going to become very important, especially in this cold biome I'm in, as I'm going to need to start creating some clothing soon, because I'm always cold, even with the torches. And I did find out later you can dual wield the torches, but it doesn't really make a difference. So anyway, we're looking to get to level 3, but we need to get more planks and we need to get more granite. Are you surprised? Because I'm not surprised. Now this whole time, Meowscles had been walking around, as I'm sure you noticed, and I didn't notice that Meowscles was here. So I finally noticed him. I was just so dug in, couldn't even see him. We go ahead and, of course, we have to get him on our team, and preferably as my exploration partner. So I'll need to first go ahead and build him a bed similar that we did earlier. We just stick him right in the middle there for now, since I don't have a lot of other covered space. So let's go ahead and see if he'd like to live in our village. Well, he definitely is looking for a place to live. Let's see. He seems interested. Oh, he doesn't like people. That's okay. Well, we got to do what I wanted to do originally, and we need to we need to level up the village to get him to be able to live here. So we've go ahead and done that real quick, and now we can talk to him again. As we'll see here, villagers will occasionally give gifts, and an additional villager can live in our village now that we're a tier 3. So now that we have an exploration partner and somebody back at the village helping us out with resources, I wanted this to be a simple introductory video. Nothing overly complicated. I know that I left out a ton of stuff. There's so much more. There's gliders. There's so much more food. There's so many more combat items. There's so much more to build. There's tons, but I wanted this to be something to give everybody an easy point of entry that maybe wasn't familiar with the game, just to get a basic idea of what you might expect when you start playing. So I think getting up to about a level 3 village is going to get you to that point where you're settled, and then you can really dig into the meat of the game without worrying about basic resources, shelter, and things like that. So even though this game borrows a lot of elements from Minecraft, a lot of elements from the Fallout settlements, a lot of elements from even hardcore Skyrim, I think that's what makes it so appealing and such just an enticing platform. I can't seem to get enough of it. I always want to come back. When I first started playing, I didn't really feel that way, but it really only took like 5 minutes of gameplay before I was hooked. So I hope you give this a try. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, you're one of the OGs. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you guys in the next one.